Mike from North Carolina. What happened to Bullet Club? When I was really a hardcore fan in the mid to late 2010s, everybody was talking about Bullet Club. While I do keep up with wrestling from time to time, I feel like since AEW started, nobody talks about them anymore. Are they still around or have they completely disbanded? No, they're still around, but Bullet Club is not what it used to be. Really hasn't been in many years. I think they keep it around just to make money off the name, to be honest. David Finlay is the leader right now, but they have a few offshoot groups, including in other promotions. They've got the House of Torture. Even the less said about them, the better. I don't really see the House of Torture as being Bullet Club. I think technically they are. Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns in AEW, they were Bullet Club Gold for a while. They haven't used that name in many months. I don't know why. Now they're just going by the Bang Bang Gang. So I'm not even sure if they're technically considered a part of Bullet Club anymore. I know in TNA they have a ABC team of Ace Austin and Chris Bay. They're members of Bullet Club. So it's still alive, but it's nothing like what it used to be. New Japan owns the IP, and they license it out to other promotions that want to use it, but they still make money off the merch, and as long as it still makes money for them, Bullet Club is going to be around in some form. We're basically in the NWO B team phase of Bullet Club right now. That's kind of how I look at it. Jonathan from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was wondering if you've heard about the controversy involving Hana Kimura and the manga anime series Oshi no Ko. It's been in the past a hotly debated topic amongst the anime fandom. In late 2020, the author of the series created a story arc that was based around a character being bullied on social media to the point where they attempted suicide. It was after Hana Kimura's death and was clearly inspired by it. The problem is the author never contacted Hana's mother to see if she was okay with them creating a story arc based around her daughter. In fact, she didn't even know it was a thing until the anime version aired 2.5 years later. For context, Oshi no Ko is one of the biggest manga/animes in the world. A large chunk of the show is a dramatic satire meant to deconstruct obsessive fans and how they can ruin people's lives. And in the story in question, the person who attempts suicide survives and is given another chance at life. It comes off less exploitative and more what could have been had Hana Kimura gotten the help that she needed. Where do you think the line is for taking real-life events and using it as inspiration for storytelling? If someone, for example, created a story that was inspired by the tragedy of Owen Hart, would it be tasteless no matter what? Or could it be pulled off so long as it's not actively making light of the situation? If somebody wants to come up with a story arc that is inspired by true events, I don't see the issue with it. I really don't see I don't see how someone would even have standing unless they're using that person's name. If it's so blatant and they're actually using the person's name or their likeness in some way, that's a totally different story. Do I think there are ways to do it where if it's pulled off tastefully or it doesn't make light of the situation, then I don't have an issue with it, and I don't see the problem with it. In this case, if they were putting together a story arc that you can look at and go, okay, this is clearly inspired by the Hana Kimura situation, but you don't know for sure. Like, it's different enough where it doesn't use her name or it changes up some of the details. I don't see an issue with it. I don't think that they're under any obligation to, let her mother know or get her mother's permission. I don't see it as being tasteless unless it's handled in a tasteless way. I guess it all depends or it all depends on how the story is put together. In this case, the way you described it to me, it sounds like they borrowed from real life events and they gave it a happy ending that hopefully could, send a message of positivity of some kind. In real life, unfortunately, she killed herself and she took her own life. Maybe this sends a message that you don't have to, that life is precious and you don't want to throw it away. If that's the message coming out of it, I think that's a positive message. I think that more people should hear about. But do I think they're under an obligation to have informed her mother about it? I don't. Just based on what you're describing to me, If it's kind of vague, but inspired by Hana's story, then I don't see an issue with it.